everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Akos and I'm a junior doctor at the Aberdeen Royal Infirmary in Aberdeen. Just a little bit about me basically, just to start off this channel. I studied in Aberdeen for 5 years to do my medical degree, started my medical degree, and I graduated this year in April. Well, actually, that was last year, 2020 in April. And basically, I'm also working in Aberdeen, and that's basically a little bit about me. As the channel keeps going on, you will learn a lot more about me as we have these conversations, as we talk through, my sort of journey to medicine. Now just a little bit about the channel and the reason why I'm doing the channel. So I started off, I've had like 2 videos that I did when I was in 4th year or 5th year, I can't remember. And it was just about how to get into med school, in particular Aberdeen, and I did like a few tips on how to get into like interview tips and personal statements and things. And that kind of fell by the wayside because I was incredibly busy coming up to 4th year in Aberdeen. We have our final exams. 5th year we had the OSCEs, and then the whole coronavirus thing happened, and I was like, wow. And I think I've just settled into my FY role, and my rota seems to have eased up a little bit. So now I'm starting the channel again, okay, to see where we go with it. So that's just a brief history about me and about why I'm doing the channel. Now let me think about what to say next. My motivation for doing medicine. Why did I decide to do medicine? When I was in secondary school, I did my secondary school and most of my schooling in London, actually, where my family currently are. And when I was in secondary school, I was good at science, but I was also good at art, and I was also good at sports, and I was good at most things. I wanted to be an athlete. Not as a professional, but I loved running. I was good at running, and I wanted to actually run, but I didn't want to do that as my actual profession. I actually wanted to do law. So I remember for my work experience, I actually did worked in Highgate Magistrates Court, and that was like always my calling. But then the more I did science, the more I liked science. My dad is a chemical engineer, so like I really liked chemistry. I enjoyed biology, didn't really like physics. Physics not a thing, but it was basically, so I guess I was good at most things, like all the subjects, except for maths. But so it was difficult for me to kind of choose where I wanted to go. And I went to college, and then I dissected I think it was a pig's heart or a lamb's heart or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I could totally do this. So I started thinking about medicine from like then. So it was really from college, and I went to Woodhouse College in North London. And I guess, again, at that point, I wasn't 100% like, yeah, I definitely want to do medicine. Anytime anyone will ask me what you want to do, I'd say, yeah, I want to do medicine. And I guess my family liked the idea of me doing medicine as well. I suppose they didn't mind whether it was law or medicine. If you know African parents, like law or medicine doesn't make a difference. My sister is an intelligent person in the family, and she was always pitched to be the doctor in the family. But then she went to college. She's my older sister, but when she went to college, and she literally, the first time she dissected a heart, she fainted, and she's like got blood phobia, and that was it. She was like, I can't do medicine. That was it for her. So I think maybe that's actually maybe what triggered me to start thinking about medicine, because I remember my dad being so excited all the time, thinking, oh, he was going to have a doctor as a daughter. And I remember him being heartbroken when my sister said she couldn't do medicine. So I guess maybe that's when I started thinking about it. Well, I suppose I could do it, kind of thing. But I didn't really, it wasn't really like my thing at the time. Anyway, moving forward, I didn't do so well in college. I had a few setbacks, and I did really well in GCSEs. Hence going to Woodhouse. Woodhouse is like a really good college. You have to do extremely well to get into it. But from Woodhouse College, I didn't do so well. My grades are actually not so good. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just do biochemistry as my first degree. I like science, like I said. I like chemistry. I like biology. And at this time, I wasn't thinking law anymore, because law was kind of out of the way for me. I was thinking science now. I was like, I'll do biochemistry, and then I'll see if I can get to graduate medicine. If I still want to do medicine, whatever. Just kind of go with the flow. So I went to London Metropolitan University in Holloway. Lovely university, absolutely love it. I don't know why I had such low ratings. Honestly speaking, London Met made me who I am today. That is a fact. But anyway, so went to London Met, did biochemistry, and then fast forward again to like my final year. Just when I got to like my final year, my 3rd year of biochem, I started to think medicine again. I was like, ooh, maybe I should just do medicine. And again, at this point, I was never really convicted. It was almost like sort of a fleeting thought, like, oh, medicine, maybe not, maybe not. But then at that point, I was like, okay, do you know what? Just tick the boxes for medicine, just in case you decide to do it. Or like, like it wasn't really like, I wasn't, I don't know if it was also because I was putting myself off thinking maybe I won't get in because my A levels were so bad. So maybe I was like, okay, maybe just do it, maybe just don't. Like, I wasn't really committing to the decision to do medicine because I suppose I didn't want to get heartbroken. Maybe that's what it was. You know what? I don't even know. But anyway, so I then volunteered at Royal Free Hospital. As a volunteer, and I just used to basically serve teas and coffees like during the war. It wasn't a paid role, but I tried to use that for and for my final year as well, I needed to do work experience, so I tried to use that volunteering experience. Ooh. Oh. Anyway, I tried to use that work experience as my final year work experience course, as well as sort of if I wanted to get into medicine, I needed work experience. That's creepy. Anyway, so then I did that, and then I kind of just forgot about it. Yeah, then I kind of just forgot. And again, medicine just kind of went fleeting by. And my supervisor at the time, who was helping me with the work experience and helping me with my final year biochem project, said to me, why don't you do a PhD? Like, instead of going straight onto instead of doing like a master's or going to work, why don't just after you graduate go straight onto your PhD and do your PhD? And I thought, oh, that sounds good. Imagine Dr. Akos at the end by like in 4 years time. And I thought, you know what, I really like the sound of that. And also because I really liked what the PhD was going to be about. At that time, I was working on my work placement was about planaria. So planaria are flatworms who regenerate. So if you cut their heads off, the head part will grow a tail and the tail part will grow a head. And if you cut them into three, the head will grow a tail, the middle part will grow a head and a tail, and then the tail will grow a head. And it was so, like, it was really, really exciting. And it was about using planaria, extracting those regenerative genes and trying to see if we could replicate them and combine them with the human genome to help us human beings regenerate sort of damaged organs. So like, for example, if you had a heart attack and a bit of your heart had died off, then maybe using this planaria gene, incorporating it into the heart cells, and then seeing that the heart cells could grow back. So that was like the aim of the project. It was also obviously going to take some time, but that was what the PhD was probably going to be around. And I really thought that was really interesting. And I mean, it had a medical aspect to it, right? I think I need to check on this. I'm back. Anyway, so that was what my PhD was going to be about, and it was really exciting. But then the way I got into medicine is actually hilarious. So the way I committed to do medicine was actually hilarious. So again, I've been watching Korean dramas like since 2000. Literally, it's been like 20 years since I've been watching Korean dramas, right? And I was watching a Korean drama. Oh, what's the name of the drama? I think it was oh, I can't remember. Was it Doctor Strange? No, it wasn't. It was something, I can't remember the name. But this guy was like a cardiothoracic surgeon, and he'd go into theatre and he was doing theatre cases, and like that literally ignited my love for medicine. It's not a joke. A Korean drama got me to apply for medicine. So as I watched this drama, I was like, oh my goodness, I think I really like this. I know, and it's crazy right now because you think medicine is obviously not what you see in the movies. And I knew that, but it was just that I thought, I still want to do this. I still want to be in the theatre. I still want to be helping people with like their heart problems. I still want to be, curing people when they get like a heart attack, and, helping people with like bypasses and stuff. I was just, I was intrigued by the movie. Absolutely loved it. Started researching about cardiothoracic surgery. And literally by the end of the Korean drama, I was like, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to apply for med school. So and this was like I can't remember, it was like in June. And I think the UK cat was like in August or October, or maybe it was in August, and the UK cat was like in October. I literally had like 2 months to prepare for the UK cat, and I was like, right, I'm going to do this. So went on UCAS, applied for UCAS, and you know how UCAS you get 5 choices, right? But for medicine, you can only do 4 choices, and then your final choice, you have to use it for something else. So I was like, I'm not interested in anything else. I'm only applying for medicine. If I don't get into medicine, then that's it. I'm not even going to bother with anything else. So I just did my UCAS 4 choices. I did 2 universities in England and 2 in Scotland. Right. Applied for it, did my personal statement, did everything, sent it off, and then started looking for UKCAT, prepping for my UKCAT. Literally, it was crazy. And at the same time, I had my final year exams. Also, it must have been, when was my final year exams? That's interesting. But I had my final year exams at the same time. So I'm thinking it must have been before May, because my final year exams was in May. Oh, I can't remember, I'll have to go back and look at these dates. But, anyway, I was prepping for my final year exams at the same time I was prepping for UKCAT. And it was the hardest thing, honestly. It was incredibly difficult. The UKCAT, on hindsight, is not that difficult. It's just the skill that it takes, honestly. And like I say, I'm not good at math. So the quantitative section of things was very, very challenging for me. But, all's well that ends well, or something that they say. And so basically, here I am, did a UKCAT, passed the UKCAT. I wasn't like in the 700s, but that's because so everything else was like 700, and I think my verbal reasoning was like 500, so it knocked me down to like 660 or something. So I got into med school anyway. And that's a whole nother story by itself. Honestly speaking, the whole process, like which universities I applied for, how I applied, all that, I think we'll probably do a separate video because I don't want this video to be too long. But basically, that's my journey on how I applied for med school. And yeah, if you have any questions, just like down. And my next video is probably going to be on something about the UCAS application. Aha, I found it. So my application was, I noticed in I sent my application in November 2014. My UKCAT was in like October 2014, and I think you needed to have done the UKCAT before you had applied for med school through UCAS. I think that's what it was. So I just remember it being very short. Honestly, it's been such a long time. So 2014 times, okay, we're in 2020, 6 years ago. So it's we're in 2021. But it was tight. The deadline was tight, and it was just because I literally decided very last minute. So I guess I just want to encourage everyone here who feels like maybe it's too late to apply for, if you're like really, really like tight on the deadline. I applied the first time I got into med school, and it was on that tight schedule. So it's never too late. I know you hear this all the time, but honestly, I'm a living example. It's never too late to apply for med school. And don't let anybody ever put you off and be like, oh, you need like 3 months or 6 months to apply for. I know a lot of the time when you go on like student room and people advising you, and they're like, oh, you should start revising for UKCAT, start revising like at least 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance, whatever the case. You need to remember everybody is different. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. It's definitely better to revise for it earlier. But if you haven't had the opportunity and you only have like, even if it's 2 weeks left, and you know yourself, okay, you know your capabilities, you know how you know yourself basically. So don't let anybody put you off. There's some people who take a long time to retain information, some people don't, okay? And we're different people. I don't think I'm one of those who take a long time to retain information. It's pretty much me, I retain it like that, but then I lose it very quickly as well. So I don't really keep it for a long time. It's like a short-term thing. But you know yourself. You honestly know yourself, and you know what you can do, you know what you cannot do. And even there's some things that you feel like you cannot do, sometimes you can do it. So just push yourself to the limit, okay? The sky for me is not even the limit. I go beyond the sky. So yeah, that's my message to you from this intro video. Honestly, anything is possible. I will get into more details, the more questions that you guys, there's some things I'm sure I know I rushed over, and some things I brushed over as well. If you want to know more about anything, just write in the comments, let me know. And I'm sure the more that we have these conversations, the more that I do these videos, more things will sort of transpire. But for now, thank you for joining me on the Oasis Medic show, and I hope to see you in my next video.